On a bitterly cold night in 2026, deep within the fortified walls of Blackspire Prison on a shrouded island in Zaravia, 4 inmates lay in their separate cells, feigning early sleep. Alex Harlan, the determined journalist, and his 3 trusted allies, John the engineer, Marco the scout, and Camille the strategist, had planned this moment for months. Their goal: to wake before remote, fog dawn and breach the hidden tunnels they'd painstakingly carved. But as the clock struck midnight, an unnatural storm raged outside. Heavy rain pounding the earth like a warning from the heavens. Undeterred, they rose in silence, peeling away the cleverly disguised cardboard panels from their cell walls, each revealing a narrow hole that snaked through the stone, merging into a single escape route leading straight to the unknown freedom beyond. One by one, they emerged from the tunnel's mouth into the freezing night air, the prison's silhouette looming behind them like a forgotten shadow. After reaching outside the prison, they realized it's an island. The island's isolation was a cruel secret. They'd been blindfolded upon arrival, oblivious to the vast, unforgiving ocean that encircled their prison. Shivering violently in the relentless downpour, they huddled briefly, their breaths forming misty clouds in the sub-zero chill. And they looked back at the prison and remembered the torture. "We swim for it," Marco urged, his voice steady despite the fear in his eyes. They plunged into the icy waves, the shock of the cold seizing their muscles like a vice. John, the engineer with a mind for solutions, kicked fiercely against the currents, his arms slicing through the water in rhythmic strokes, fighting to keep his head above the swelling tides. Marco, the scout accustomed to evasion, scanned the horizon for any sign of land, his body numb but driven by sheer willpower, dodging debris whipped by the storm. Camille, the strategist who had mapped their every move, called out encouragements between gasps, coordinating their efforts to stay together amid the chaos. But the sea was a relentless predator. Waves crashed over them like thunder, pulling at their limbs with frozen fingers. Exhaustion crept in as the cold sapped their strength. John's strokes faltered first, his body succumbing to hypothermia, visions of freedom blurring into darkness. Marco fought on, lungs burning, but a massive swell dragged him under, his cries lost to the roar. Camille, the last to hold out, clung to hope until the end, his mind racing for a way out. But the ocean's depths claimed him too, silencing their desperate struggle in its icy embrace. As dawn broke over Blackspire, guards patrolling the cells noticed the eerie silence in 3 rooms. Alarms blared as they burst in, finding empty bunks and the cardboard disguises torn away. A frantic search ensued, teams scouring the grounds, boats dispatched into the turbulent sea. Hours later, the grim harvest. The lifeless bodies of John, Marco, and Camille washed ashore, victims of the frozen waters. And guards went for inspecting the cells. Investigators uncovered the intricate tunnel network, its branches connecting not 3, but 4 rooms. The 4th led straight to Alex's cell, exposing his role in the plot. "He was part of it," the warden growled as guards dragged the shocked journalist from his hiding. Chained in the interrogation chamber, Alex faced a barrage of questions. Who planned this? How long have you been digging? Under the relentless pressure, he revealed the truth about the escape. The months of covert labor using smuggled spoons from the mess hall to chip away at the walls. A makeshift driller motor scavenged and repurposed from an old vacuum cleaner in the maintenance shed to speed up the boring. And cardboard scraps painted to match the cell walls as perfect disguises for the tunnel entrances. Alex is a fearless journalist on the trail of corruption. Alex had compiled a data drive packed with irrefutable evidence of high-level officials' embezzlement and bribes. Real secrets he had gathered meticulously for a bombshell exposé. Unfortunately, he was caught at the airport just before publish, the drive seized as state secrets, and he sentenced for life imprisonment. The guards listened carefully about the escape plan. Alex, delayed by a sudden rush of rainwater flooding his section of the tunnel, reached the end too late, only to glimpse his friends vanishing into the storm, their escape turning to tragedy. But irrespective of his revelations and pleas for justice, they showed no mercy, branding him an irredeemable enemy of the state and sentencing him to eternal exile in the most notorious hellhole imaginable. They sent him into the infamous Iron Vault in the frozen Siberian Allied territory, a solitary fortress cell with walls of unyielding steel and a single ventilation shaft soaring 50 meters overhead. Alex's nightmare deepened. Guards inflicted relentless torment. 25-kilogram cuffs bolted to his hands and legs. Removed only twice a month for humiliating baths. Meals were flung to the floor, forcing him to eat like an animal. Days blurred into agony, and torture ate his bone. But in the shadows, he decided to escape the hell Alex plotted. He changed the torture into a tool. They give him extreme salt in ration as a punishment. He secretly applied it to the screws of cuffs, the corrosive mix with his sweat weakening the metal over weeks. He hid his progress, biding time in silence. Under the cover of endless nights, Alex shed his weakened cuffs, concealing them as tools. By moonlight, filtering through the high vent, he clawed at the ground beneath his thin mat, using the cuff's edges to dig. Soil was stuffed back into the mat, creating a bulky decoy of his sleeping form. He fashioned a simple cover from scraps, mimicking an undisturbed bunk. His body ached, but freedom called, the hole deepening inch by inch toward an underground escape. And in a morning, when Alex failed to stir for his meager meal, guards stormed the cell, beaten him, ripping away the mat. They found only the soil-stuffed decoy and the gaping hole beneath. Alarms echoed as searchers combed the vault and surrounding Siberian forests, where temperatures plummeted to -10 degrees Celsius. He won't last long in this wilderness, they concluded, calling off the hunt after fruitless days. Alex had vanished into the white expanse, his survival a testament to unyielding will. 10 years passed. Zoravia's corrupt regime crumbled under a new government's reforms. And in a cold morning, a stranger stepped into a quiet coffee shop in Japalkatur. And he surrendered to an honorable officer in that coffee shop, and revealing his name, Alex. To the new authorities, he were not criminal but a hero. Alex faced a throng of reporters eager for his tale. "Where did you dispose of the soil from your tunnel in the iron vault?" one asked. Alex paused, his voice steady. "A senior guard, an old soul named Viktorov, secretly aided me. And give me the wisdom. He turned a blind eye during his shifts, even smuggling out small batches in his uniform pockets. But he passed away 10 months ago, peacefully in his sleep, a quiet ally to the end." The second question followed. "How did you survive the brutal cold after escaping?" Alex's eyes distant. He replied, "I sought refuge in a hidden cave deep in the forest, living like an animal for nearly 3 years, hunting scraps, insulating with moss and branches, my body adapting to the freeze through sheer will. The cave became my fortress, teaching me that survival is etched in the soul." A whistleblower who had toppled tyrants, Alex's sentence was lifted. Justice finally served. In the face of impossible odds, the light of justice endures, guiding the lost toward horizons of hope.